Hello, how we doing? Hey, Instagram fan. Whew. Running a few minutes behind. Myself in a comfortable position. There's Fiona. Hey, Fiona. Me. Okay. Hey, free man in town. How you doing? Hey, Mia. How you doing, honey?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
Hello, baby girl. How you doing?
Hi. I am well. I am well. I am well. How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. Just a little bit tired, but I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But yeah, I'm all blessed. I'm all good. Just trying to get myself comfortable.
Hey, Maya. Hey, sweetie pie. Good to see you, girl. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening.
Right, hold on. Let, as I realized last week of how to actually
Mm-hmm.
pin a comment. Right,
Oh my
so,
goodness. Sorry. All this stuff all over the place.
uh,
You okay?
yeah, I'm pinning the questions.
Oh, thanks, Maya. It's a head wrap. Wrapped my hair. Just put a choker on. Thought I'd make a bit better. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So are you, darling. You are beautiful as well.
Okay, there we go. And then there, pinned
Okay,
it.
that's it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Maya. Are you like you're not dressed for the party? Not at all, baby girl. But yeah, thank you. Oh, I see. Yeah, me and Fiona are actually matching in colours. That was not planned.
Are
Orange
we?
and orange.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't planned, no. No, it wasn't planned at all.
Hey, Joyful Delight. How you doing, darling? Hope you're well.
So
But
welcome
yeah,
people into the space. Welcome into the space, people.
welcome.
Welcome into the space, family. I'm just here burning my sage, as I like to do, just to
Set the
make
tone.
sure to set the tone and just to make sure that any bad vibes, any bad spirit, they are not welcome in this space. It's all
Uh-uh.
about love, peace, and positivity. So
They'll
I
be in
always
review.
like to bless the space, and anything that is negative shall not enter. We don't play
Mm-hmm.
that. We
Mm.
don't play that. We lock it off. We don't enter it. We lock it off. Yes. Oh, what do you think? I tried
Right.
that.
Well, tonight. Oh, hold on. What I should have. Okay. Well, I'll just say now. Tonight's convo topic. We have chosen to follow topics that there's a company called Become Immersive who we've collaborated with for one of our events, who we was raising funds for one of our events. Become Immersive, they are about changing the narrative for the African diaspora. And they created some amazing cards. Actually, I've left the deck in my bedroom, but they created amazing cards. Um, Actually, you know what? Give me a second. Let me just go and grab the deck. 2 secs. I should have been more
And
prepared.
as she puts on hold music. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hey, Chantel, what's going on, Nottingham family? You good, sister? How you doing on this Monday evenings? It's good to see you in this space, girl. It's good to see you in this space, queen.
Right. I am back. Thank you for the
Hey.
music, Fiona.
You're welcome. Carry on.
Right. So these are the Come Talks cards. And this is volume 1. And there's 120 thought-provoking questions for the Black community, families, and self-reflection. And if I can open them with one hand, which I can't. So these are the cards. And there's 4 different sections. Hey, sis. Hey, how you doing? Right, so there's identity. Ooh. There's relationships. There's health. And there's breakers. Now, what me and my nephew did was basically willed it down to which section we was gonna, like, me, Fiona, to talk about tonight. And it was so funny because, of course, my nephew is young. So, you know, like when you're young and used to do ip, dip, dog, here, you are not. I changed it to ip, dip, dog, doo-doo. I'm not choosing you.
Okay. Love it.
And we wrote it down to then we chose identity and then built down all the identity cards. And then we have the card called the Blacker the Berry. And there's 3 questions, but I've put the first question in, I've pinned the first question. And it is, what experiences have you had with racism and or colorism? So that is going to be the start of the conversation. And then, yeah, once we've thoroughly broke down this question, we feel like we've answered it. And of course, you know how it goes, right? All of you, like, drop your experiences, your comments, your opinions in the comments, or do one better and come live with us and talk with us live.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know the little chin wag. You're right there, Chuck.
Yeah, my monster feet out there in the way. I'm fine.
So yes. So the first question we're starting off with here. What experiences have you had with racism and or colorism? Miss Fiona, Queen Fiona, Empress
Hey.
Fiona, would you like to
Hi.
start?
Remember, as we're speaking as well, whoever joins in and sees the question, just write your comments up as well. So we're speaking, but then we'll also go back to what comments you put down. So my experience, I would say I think there was one when I was younger, I was playing in the park, really young, and there was a sand pit. There's like a sand pit there. And I remember there was a young Caucasian girl, a young Caucasian girl. I can't remember what I think she pushed me or something. And what did she do? She pushed me and said I couldn't play there and called me black this. So I ran home to my mum because we only live around the corner. So I ran home to my mum. My mum came out, hair disheveled. I was like, oh, mum, I really thought my mum would have come to here. My mum didn't care what she looked like. She came out. Where's the girl? Where's the girl? I pointed to the girl. She dressed up the girl. Said don't ever speak to my daughter again and told me to box her in the face. Because she pushed me, I had to push her back and box in the face.
Yeah.
Then she said to me, make sure you stand up for yourself next time. I'm not going to keep coming out here and dragging out. And I looked at my mum, and I looked at her and I was like, I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, oh, look how my mum looks. She didn't cane my head or nothing. You know,
So that's how you know. This is where Black women, we do not play around when it comes to our children. You mess with my child, I'm going to come out looking any shape and way.
Yeah.
I'm going to come and mash you up for messing with my child. Simples.
Yeah, and I think after that, trying to think in school, not so much. But I think as you get older, you realize people aren't doing it overtly to you. For example, in workplaces, it's not more what they say, it's what they don't say and what they do. However, I do remember in one work establishment, in a fast food chain that I worked at, I think I've said this story before, a fast food chain I worked at, I was in a particular section. I was in a particular section. This lady was new. I had to train her for the last 45 minutes, 60 minutes that I was there. So I trained her on what I was doing, told her what she needed to do. I proceeded, okay, you're fine, thank you, bye. I walked away, washed my hands. Then I heard her say, they were calling her saying, we need this, this, and this. Then I was still in earshot, and I heard her say, the black bitch didn't put down no food. Well, I tell you, I kid you not. I flew so fast. I flew over there so fast. Some of the people had to hold me back. They 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 had to hold me back and rush me out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I said, who the hell? Who? Fiona, just yeah. They had to hold me back. Yeah. I think they just feel that they have authority. That's my belief. And also, there's another incident.
Many
I was out with, there's many, man. Let me take a sip of drink. This is water, by the way. It's water.
I think Chantal already says, where do I start with a drink?
And there's another incident when I was out with a group of friends. Actually, when I was out with a group of friends when I used to live in Nottingham. And this is one of the things where it's literally how you're treated. This one was how we were treated. So there's a group of us, a group of us met, city centre, went to a particular bar, a bar that I don't even go in this bar. We went in there because one of our friends said, oh, I'm in here, meet in here, because they had something for me. I thought, okay. So all of us walked up, went in the bar. We were in there for not even 5 minutes. And this lady behind the bar, I really didn't care who she was at the time. She just came up and said, are you not going to buy a drink? I was like, we've been in here less than 5 minutes. I said, as you can see, that the group of us, we've literally just seen our friend. We've spoken, you see you people, well, I kid you not. My hand raised, I went up to punch, and before I know it, I was outside. I was outside. And the doorman said to me, it's not worth it, as he put me down to stand up on the floor. I literally, I don't know what, I know my fist raised, and I kind of went to point, and I was just up and out and placed on it.
For 5 seconds and you was outside.
Yeah, I literally, I was like, oh, what's going on? Oh, hi. And I started cussing. He said, I know. He said, I know. He said, I know. I said, what were you in the woman? He said, I went, who is she? He said, she's the manager. I said, I don't give two doo-doo to she. She's got no manners. I said, because there was other people in there that didn't look like me, that never had nothing. They came in the same time as us. They hadn't. I said, we literally didn't even settle down, and the woman's on our back, on my back. No.
Oh no.
So yeah, they're the more overt ones. Other ways, I would say it's subtly, for example, when you're going into certain department stores
Mhm.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're getting followed, the eyes are on you, and
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
end up walking out. I used to end up walking out because I ain't got
Or
the
when you're
time.
walking down the street and the way that you're being
Yeah,
watched and looked at. Yeah.
exactly. And I know in my work environment, apart from the one I mentioned for the fast food company, that was many, many years ago. My work environment, not so much. I would say the recent one was a few years ago. However, it wasn't, they didn't say anything. It's how management would treat you. For example,
Mm.
walking by you, you're smiling, not responding or not acknowledging you,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying hello to you. It's
yeah.
literally walking into your team section, not acknowledging you, but going straight over to someone else that's just sat across from you when you're there. No acknowledgement, no hello to anyone else, just to other particular people that look
Mm-hmm.
of a particular
Mm-hmm.
color. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this thing, I ain't got time. All
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
this is not right. This is not right. Go there
Mm.
with your blue foot dry self, it's fine. With your dry, decrepit, lizard looking skin, is fine. I'm good in it. I'll just continue to do my work. You know what I mean? I'll just continue to work and I wish you an abundance of karma and a life of greatness. Just wish you all the
A life
best and
of
an abundance of
Bluefoot.
karma. Yeah, so yeah. Season's Beauty Black Nation Lab. Hi, 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 hi.
Yay! And Happy New Year, King. King
But yeah,
Hugh.
must be my experience of racism, I would say.
Mm.
Colorism, I would say with that, that's within our own community.
Mm.
I personally feel that is a lot within our community ourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I feel about
yeah.
that. Yeah, what are your experiences? I know you've worked within the fashion industry, so I know there must be plenty stories, but just give us maybe one or two, not the hundred, not the hundred
One
that
or
you have.
two. Well, I'll start with my earliest memory of racism was when lived in a very racist area when me and my family moved to Nottingham. Area's called Clifton. Um, had
Mm-hmm.
no idea how, yeah, you're coughing, clearing your throat, right? Had no idea how racist the area was. My mum was advised to move to this area. She took on the advice, and it was just pure havoc. Like, out of me and my siblings, my brother received the most threats to his life due to the racism and the attacks that would be literally on his life. Like, grown ass men going to his school with baseball bats, with pit bulls, chasing only the black boys around the school grounds. So, yeah, that was like my, even though that wasn't happening to me, but it was. Do you know what I mean? It was like I never knew if my brother was going to get home safe, if he was going to come back home alive. And around those times, yeah, at Williams, Clifton, oh lordy, yes. And around those times, that was when the attack on Stephen Lawrence and he lost his life. Do you know what I mean? Like when that happened, so it was a really, really it was extremely scary and frightening on a daily basis. And he was very young, he was only in secondary school. And at his school, there was only 10 black boys, and that's going from year 7 to year 11. And they had to fight off grown ass white thugs, about 15 of them that had
Mm.
weapons and pit bull dogs. And they were not, they were not being, um, they weren't secure, they wasn't being taken care of. The teachers on the grounds were not taking care of them, even though this was happening on a regular basis. Security at the school was shocking. Can't swear because my nephew's in the other room. But yeah, it was very shocking. What happened to me when I was at school. So yeah, I was the only black girl in the school. There was me. There was me. I was the only black girl, only black, well, yeah, once my brother left, I was the only black person in the school, and then there was one Asian boy, Indian boy. And so, yeah, my friends at school were all white. I was the only the little black girl. And, I was just happy and full of love and full of life and just wanted to get along with everyone. And everything was going fine until one day, somebody out of my group of friends, I particularly remember her name, Claire, Clare. We was talking, and midway as she was talking, she went in my face.
Hmm?
She chose the wrong one because I was like, why would you do? Bam. I would have been what? Like, probably, no, I would have been 8. Because, yeah, it was like in my head, and then I can remember the words are coming out my mouth. Why would you do that? But when I got to that, it was bam. Because I know she didn't hit me, but the two nastiest things that you can do to someone, and this is something that my mum taught us from young, spitting on someone or breathing on them. Why do I want your breath on me? Like when you cough, what do? You cover your mouth, right? You don't spit on nobody, you don't breathe on them. So I was just like, you nasty little wretch. Boof, boof. Anyhow, I was the one that got put in detention. And the interesting thing is because I was very, I was very articulate when I was young. And there was a teacher called Mr. Palmer, and he was apparently the cool white teacher that would stand up to racism and defend you and understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen. But when I was explaining what happened, because yeah, he was cool when my brother was there, but then once my brother left, he wasn't supporting me when it came to like racial division, anything like that, any issues that I had. He did not support me. He would not have my back. And it was his class. He put me in detention, and then that was my first experience of realizing that no matter what, I'm always going to be the one in the wrong. No one's going to listen. No one's going to defend me. You can go out and do something to me, and I'm still going to be the one that's guilty. And that broke my heart. That broke me. Especially because I put so much trust, especially him being a teacher, and him vocalizing about how he's going to, defend like the students of color. And he did not do that for me. He was the one that put me in detention, and I had to stand in the corner of the room for the whole of the class. And then Claire was sitting there all smug. The way I wanted to ragdoll that girl when I came out, yo, yeah, I had to hold myself back. Um, and then, okay, so fast forward, because yeah, that would have been when I was 7, 8. Fast forward to when I was working in fashion. Oh, Lord Jesus. So don't know if I should be mentioning companies, but yeah, I was working there. I was working at a particular company, and I was recruited there because of my experience. And yeah, my resume was hot fire, and I'd done extremely well in a short period of time. And at first, I was being taken on as oh, not an apprentice, but yeah, basically I got a fashion assistant role. And it turned out that there was a few people that didn't like the fact of where I had previously worked, and that my resume was was, yeah, like deep in the game in terms of if if there was anybody there that could say, oh, you know, like name drop, I had so many names to drop. But I wasn't like that. I was more there
Mm.
to bring in my expertise and do the job and get along with everybody. Nah, that wasn't going well. There was two main white girls that had it in for me, and there was always chatting crap about me. There was just on a daily basis making my life hard. And they was doing the most, like complaints about me on a daily basis, saying I'm not doing the work, da 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 da. Even though my numbers were, you know, it wasn't reflecting in my numbers of the shots, and it wasn't reflecting in when I was assisting people. They was always speaking highly of me. But anyway, the man that he was the one that recruited me. They got rid of him. As soon as they got rid of him, I knew what was going to come next. I knew that my job was on the line next. And these
Mm-hmm.
two girls, the complaints just escalated, they went out of control. And then the management, the people of management that took over the man that they got rid of, they was all part of the same pact. But that management, those ladies, witches, they basically organized a meeting for us all. What did those two white girls do in the meeting? Start crying
For what? Why?
and saying that I was bullying them and I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And I was like, when have I ever done these things? And if I did these things that was so extreme, I would have got sacked a long time ago. There's no
Mm.
way that in these months that I've been here, that because it was like this was in the first 3 months of me being there as well. So I was like, if I did any of those things, like there's no room for warning. They'll just get rid of me. I haven't been there long enough for them to give me 1, 2, 3 warnings. It'll just be like,
Yeah.
you haven't been here long enough. You've breached the contract, and we're basically, you know, axing your contract. We're getting rid of you.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, where's the evidence that I've done these things? What dates are you talking about? You know, like, let's paint a picture of this whole thing. It doesn't make any sense. All they did, and we spoke about this in a previous conversation about white women in the tears, right?
Yes, Chantal's
They
just put it. WWT, White Women Tears. Chantal's just put it up.
Right. They put on the most. I have to use the word epic. They both barred their eyes out. They barred their eyes out, and then it got me teary because I was just like, wow, you know, when you just feel something deep in your chest, and it was horrible, and I was like. It brought me back to when I was 7 or 8. I was like, I'm not protected. No one's going to believe me. They already have their fake vision of me in their mind. There was a lot of jealousy because I was one of the few at that time that actually had like rows of names from where I'd worked in the fashion industry. One of the managers or one of the like supervisors, before she went to that company, she was a air stewardess.
Mm-hmm.
So there was many people like that that didn't come from a fashion background. Do you know what I mean? So then there I come in, one of the few black women that were there, and me and the other black women, like, we used to talk because they used to get it as well, but they was in a higher position than me. They had been there longer. And the girls that were starting on me, they had been there a shorter time than them. But you know, we used to check in with one another, and we knew that we had to really have like our backup. you know? But yeah, it was just that I came in there with a lot of experience, and so that came with a lot of jealousy, and I'm anybody that knows me or been around me, I'm not one for showing off. I'm not one for showing off. Like, if you ask me a question, then yes, I will answer. And I'm not going to be shy about it. I'm very proud of my experience and where I've been, who I've worked with, what I've done, what I've created, what I've built. However, I'm not one to be throwing it in people's faces, you know? But it was just like an instant dislike, instant dislike. But what the interesting thing was with these two white girls, there was a particular black girl who she was their best friends. She acted just like them. Everything, everything about her screamed, I want to be you. I hate being me. It was so, it was
Every
despicable.
skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Right,
Just
right.
because they look the same,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of them have
And the
some of
thing
them
is,
have
I think,
issues.
yeah, many issues. And I think
Issues.
that was her way of keeping safe because that was her way of keeping safe. Do you know what I mean? Like, for her to basically reflect that I don't like myself. I want to be you. So, so this conversation now, when it comes to racism, it did make it a little bit difficult because they had a black girl on their side, and she chimed in and
Yeah.
said that they were telling the truth. Imagine, she chimed in and says that they were telling the truth. And when I was going to them with, where's the proof? Give me dates. Give me the scenario. Where was we? Who else was there? Was it always
Mm-hmm.
just us three in the room? Are you sure? In this big company, was it really always only us in the room? Like, you can't mention any other person's name, you know?
Mm.
But yeah, because of that black girl, it twisted it a bit and it made it harder. Anyway, I ended up losing my job. And that knocked my confidence so much. It knocked me, it knocked me, it knocked me. So yeah, there was many incidences. I can remember going to work. I was doing some like e-commerce work, turned up to work. I had on, and I have to give you the description of my outfit because it was so basic. Even though I ain't basic, but my outfit was so flawless, babe, flawless. Right. I had on blue skinny jeans and a black boob tube. I wasn't even wearing earrings. I wasn't wearing any chains, nothing, no jewelry. And you know I love my jewelry, but this particular day, I had on sandals, blue skinny jeans, and a black boob tube. And that was when I had a shaved head as well, right? So yeah, I was looking all regal, as I do. But one of the girls, and it wasn't even one of it. Again, I was at another company where there was a lot of Cocos, or there was a
Mm-mm.
few Cocos. Now, one of the Cocos who wanted to fit in with all of the white folks was like, "Oh, you look very ethnic today." Yeah, I think I was leaning on the gate, so I was leaning on the gate, and you know how I am with my facial. Like, I was just like, and I put my hand on my hip to look down to my toes. And it was such a long time because I stretched my eyes and I looked at my toes and I slowly was rolling my eyes, going up my legs, looking at the denim, got to my hips, there's still denim, got to the top, it's black lycra, looked at my wrist, there's no jewelry, felt my ears, there's no earrings, looked at my chest, there's no jewelry, there's no chains, no nothing. Then I looked back at her and I was like, oh wait, how ethnic? How?
So great.
With all this denim and lycra, how? How? And I was just like, this is a way of you again, like wanting me to stick out. And it's like, I already know, and I've realized from a long time, I already stuck out from a lot of people because I never tried to look like anybody else apart from embracing myself, simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
I never went anywhere putting no, and this is no I'm not dissing nobody. This is just my own personal choice. Like, I'm not going to say I've never put a wig on my head, but that was when I went to a fancy dress party. Do you know what I mean? And then I ended up wearing that blue fancy dress wig for about 2 months because I was like, oh, the colour blue. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. So for about 2 months, I think I was calling myself Little Kim. But like, I've never tried to look like anybody else. I'm putting no wig on my hair, in my hair, don't wear no weave. I did have a year of relaxing my hair. I realized in that year was the wrong decision. And I should have listened to my mother that actually stopped talking to me for 2 weeks because I relaxed my hair. Do you know what I mean? But I've never tried to emulate anybody else. And that's what I realized of being in the fashion industry, and not just in fashion, just on a day to day. The way that people look at me or have looked at me is that they're surprised that I am so proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
They're surprised, they're shocked. And then it stuns them even more because I'm banging.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And like, oh, like she looks good. And she looks good being herself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've been met with racism, there's been a lot of times where I have been met with it from white women because I'm not trying to look like them.
Mm.
I'm not trying to sound like them. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of my people, of
Mm-hmm.
us, and I speak highly of us all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, all airs and graces for us, you know? I love everybody, however, us, yeah, I love more.
Mm.
And I'm rooting for us 24/7. And that's even, people feel that without me even having to say. And that's what I got from that day. I was wearing denim skinny jeans and a lycra black boob tube top. And I was told that I looked ethnic. Even the style of the sandals, the style of the sandals. It was some basic strap sandals. And I was just like, wow. But yeah, like, yeah, I have many, 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 many stories. I won't go into all of them. But yes, many experiences. Well, and then, yeah, going back to what Fiona says in regards to colorism, yeah, that's been within the Black community, and like even in my own family, to where, oh God, I was young, where we'd have competitions of who's the darkest.
Mm.
Competitions of who's the darkest. You know, we'll be like looking at each other in the mirror, like who's getting lighter. Like when it gets to the winter time, who's getting more pale than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not black. You're not black. You're not blacker than me. You're not blacker than me. We used to get into it. We used to get into it. And I'm not even gonna lie, it still creeps up now. Do you know what I mean? Every so often. It's not like how it used to be when I was young. But yeah, when it came to colorism, I was met first and foremost within the family.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Of having competitions of who is blacker, who is darker than who. And the debate would go on for weeks, not even hours or minutes. It would go on for weeks. We would be arguing for weeks, 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 weeks. And then the next thing was not just like colorism. And you know, Fee, out of everybody in the family, I'm the one with the thinnest lips. So then I would get called white girl. Yo, I went through some torture, boy. I'd be getting called a white girl because I'm the one with the thinnest lips. So, but then my comeback was, yeah, but I'm darker than you though. So, do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, yeah.
But then the colorism that you mentioned, that you said you'd have the competitions in the family, you said you'd be like, who's the lightest, who's the darkest. So would it
Yeah.
be you're the darkest, would you be getting more love because you're the darkest? How were you treat? How was the treatment?
Within the youngers.
Oh, thank you, Quincy. Comedian,
Oh,
he loves the colours. Thank you.
oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you, babe. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So within the youngers, if whoever came out the darkest would get more love, but
Okay.
with the elders in the family, you would get less love for being the darkest. You wasn't favored.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's just like, yeah, with the youngers, with my siblings, with cousins, like whoever's darkest, like, yo, like we're rolling. I'm rolling. You've got to follow me now.
By the way, this wasn't our side of the family. This is our other side. I know we're cousins, but this is not the way. Just in case people are thinking, this was not with my sides. No.
Yeah. Hold on. Tasha says, what about when we went to JA? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. The first time when we went to Jamaica, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot in terms of our complexions, because like Tasha's lighter than me,
Mm-hmm.
but then
So what
I'm the
happened
one with
then? So what happened then when you came back?
it was it was it was really confusing because yeah, like Tasha was yeah, we was both getting loved up, but Tasha was getting the most. However, because of the shape of my eyes and people
Mm.
thinking that I was Chinese and that there was a possible mix. Do you know
Right,
what I mean?
okay.
Like within me, it was like that was being admired.
Someone said Nubian V and people say they don't see colour. Can I say something? That comment, when people say that, that gripes me. You want to know why? Colour is
Mm-hmm.
all around us. So for me, when people say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I don't see," are you colourblind? You colourblind?
Mm-hmm.
What colour are your
Mm-hmm.
eyes? What colour is your
Right
this is
then.
colour everywhere. It's so
Right
don't tell
then.
me you don't see colour. Colour is all
Right.
around us. You look out the window, there is color. The sky is blue, it's grey. The trees are green, the grass is green, the
Right
buildings
then.
of a particular color. I got comment, and I'm gonna say this. People may hate me, but like I said, we're unapologetic and I really don't give two doo-doos.
Speak it, sis.
I
Speak it.
find that comment, for me, in my opinion, you probably know what I'm gonna say because I said this.
I already
It
know.
normally comes from people who are in a mixed race relationship. That's what
Yep.
I found it to be.
Yep.
When you're talking
Yep.
about color, oh, I don't see color. Brethren, sisterin, shut up your mouth and stop chatting shit.
Yep.
You see color. I don't
Yep.
care if you choose to be outside your race, that's fine, but don't come with, I don't see color. Love who you love,
Right.
but don't come with that to me because I will shoot you straight down.
Yeah.
And
You
I
don't
just
see
can't.
color. You
It's
don't
color
see color, but
today.
how did you pick the shirt that you're wearing today?
Yeah. How
How
come
did you
how comes
know
everything how
that
comes
your
you're matching
shoes was
today?
gonna match with
Exactly.
your bag?
Exactly. Come on now. Come
So you
on.
don't see
Come on.
color. Don't insult my
Don't
intelligence.
insult my intelligence, and I have a little bit of it already. We have a little bit, so don't insult the little bit of
Don't
intelligence
insult my
that I got.
intelligence.
Please, don't do it,
And
Mike. Don't do it.
they'll be the same one saying, oh, I want brown babies.
Oh,
Right, hold on. I think Quincy would like to come and join. Come and join us, King.
yes, join us, bro.
But yeah, they'll be the same ones saying, because I can remember there was yeah, I went out with a group of white ladies, and yeah, it
Hey,
was a garage night. Hey King, you're right.
Right.
And it was at the end of the night where all of them was quite drunk. So, you know, I just let them chat, let them chat, let them chat. And one of them, she was so specific on the type of man that she would, because she likes black man, but not black, black, black man. They had to be mixed race. So they got a little bit of color, a little bit. And then she was like, so at least she would have a bit of a brown baby. I was like, are you mad, fam? She thought I was drunk. Nah, I was not. I heard everything. You see the next man that she went to go and chat to, because he seemed cool. And I was just like, you know what? You're into whatever you're going to dabble out, whatever. But what's not going to happen in front of me is you're going to chat all of this crap, all of this fraff. And then you're going to bring this man to be your idiot in front of me after everything that you just says. And I was just like, brother. And I repeated everything. He was like, really? I says, yeah. I says, so you see when you're going and you're dipping outside, even though he was mixed race, I says, you need to understand what you are doing. You need to have better conversations with these women to understand why they're even getting with you in the first place. It's a whole fetish.
yeah.
It's a whole leap of fetish. Ugh. But yeah, that night was interesting. But anyway, I was like, how you doing, Quincy?
Hey, Quincy. Hey. Good evening, brother. Good evening, brother.
Evening.
Yeah, I like the earrings. I love the get up. I like the outfits. It's very
Thank
you.
colourful.
We didn't even plan it. We just did.
What do you class as thin lips? What are you comparing yourself to?
Well, it wasn't me comparing. Everybody else in my family, had full lips. So the lips would look like this. So I would literally every day in my mirror be like, okay, how am I going to fix my face so I can look like I've got full lips for the whole day? The face ache I used to get, so I'd be like, that's literally all I used to do. But no, Quincy, I used to get ripped to pieces because my lips weren't full. Because I did not have full lips. And everybody else had full lips. So then I was called the white gal in my family.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't call you white girl, but I would comment how your top lip is very thin. I wouldn't call you white girl though. I wouldn't. No. That's one thing. That's one thing I wouldn't say. I wouldn't call you that. I would never. I've never called you.
I would say that you're probably the only sister then who listens to what your parents said, and the other ones got flicked in their lips. That's why they had full lips.
You know what? I should bring on my sister now. I should bring on my sister now. He was the one. She used to say to me, yeah, you're the milkman's child. That's why you look like that.
But you know our parents back in the day when we done something wrong, they used to twist our lips in it. That's why we got full lips.
Right.
All of the Christian. You listened. That's why your lips are, you know.
Tasha, did you hear that? I was the well-behaved child. So you see all those years of torture.
Yeah. There you go. And I want to just touch on what you mentioned about don't see color, and I want to elaborate on it in the sense of that needs to be broken down, because when we talk about color, like you mentioned the trees, and yeah, that's obvious. But when we speak about I don't see color, I don't think that when we were incarcerated from a slavery point of view, there was the different types of Negro which served massa, so to speak. So you could imagine back then there was the house Negro, as Malcolm X says, and the field Negro. And I don't honestly feel, my personal opinion, that when you was out in them field, I don't think you saw if there was a light-skinned slave or there was a dark-skinned slave. All you saw was the authoritarian. He chose or she chose. They made you, circumstances made you realize what color was. We were in no position to turn around and say that light-skinned person is getting more than I'm getting. It was, and it goes by what you mentioned earlier on about there are going to be groups who are going to more prefer mixed race than they are dark skin in the sense of dating if you're dating outside of the race. So it's more of a case of circumstance puts you in that situation. The authoritarian person makes you see color because of how you've been treated. We ain't got time for that. Because if you go by the film The Butler, and Maya Kari played the mum who got raped in the barn, but she was out in that field. She was out in that field. I mean, he saw that happen. He wasn't looking at, oh, he's only choosing because my mum's mixed race or light skin. But it's a quite interesting topic that people say that they don't see colour. I think some people don't. That could be true to some point, but it's whether you don't see culture. Whether you
That's a good one as well. Yeah.
Culture. So there are and I had this conversation with my son, and I think it's a conversation I'm going to have on one of my shows. I'm glad to bring these guys on. I think that when you, even if like I'm from Barbados, my parents are Barbados. If I was to marry a West African person or East African person, part of me or one of us has to indirectly change who we are to accommodate those individuals.
Okay.
So you imagine, and it's like you imagine if you date outside your race as a black man or a black woman, and you have a product of a mixed race child, indirectly you cannot deny that child. You teaching that child your blackness, which is all good, but you are indirectly denying that's their white side of the family. You know what I mean? So it brings into that whole conversation. Can you, as mixed race, can you live that black experience? So when we talk about I don't see colour, I think we're more talking about from a cultural point of view. Than an actual, because there were white people out there who generally just see people for people. I've got friends like that. They see me and my mum and my late father for who I am, and it goes on their character. So it goes on their character, not so much about it's what systems put into place to make us think, oh, I don't see colour, but your actions show me that you see colour. Your actions at work, the fact of you are not speaking up in the sense of why is there only limited people within this company of colour and progression? Why am I last on the housing list? Just think, why are we being stopped for stop and search? So things like that. I just wanted to touch on that really, and just look at the thin lips and the lovely hairstyles.
Thank you. So within that, and have you experienced racism, and in what forms?
I would say yes, I've experienced it, but because my experience of racism, and because of my presence, I'm more likely to experience it behind my back. So it's got to be done not to my face. I'm not going to have nobody confront me and say, you black this. There's got to be opportunities not given to me. And I feel that as a black man, those opportunities are not going to be given to me because they feel threatened for whatever reason.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So in the sense of experienced racism, I would say I've probably experienced it, but not in my face, because I grew up in Canning Town. I grew up in East London, West End.
Okay.
So I saw it, and I've
Yeah.
had to fight to, but I'm well known in my area, and that's by white guys and black guys. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's when you live in those kind of predominantly white areas, or they're mixed areas, you tend to find that they will more judge you on your character
Right.
than your actual colour.
Mm.
Because I remember one time I was gigging in Glasgow, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get some
Glasgow. What was that like?
Right, but you know what it was?
What?
I identify with Glaswegians probably better than middle class white people, or upper class white people, sorry, because they've Scottish have got Scottish, Irish. They have a culture about them, and they were more and yeah, even though Scottish people were slave owners, but the what's that film, Braveheart? Their man there are they live off the land and all that kind of stuff. But one of the guys said to me when I came off stage, they loved what I did, and he said to me, I was like, he basically said, we were more interested in your black experience, and we wouldn't have liked, if you're English, right? If you're white English, the white guy was on before me, in English, he got a hard time. He done all right, but he got, because you know, it's the England-Scotland thing.
Okay.
So when I went up there, and I was last on, it's like, automatically you've got that, oh, he's a black guy, he's last, so he must be good. Or I normally get to do white shows. So yeah, up in Scotland was a great. I thought I would experience it in them places, but I didn't. I got nothing but love. Nothing but love. So yeah,
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, it is a kind of interesting point. People could say I don't see colour, and I think that in some senses, yeah, people are right, but it's whether the actions of that person, or if they choose not to see it. Like, I mean, the Brexit argument to me is that you cannot tell me immigration or someone's colour or culture hasn't played a part in that.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you compare the two with Ukrainian refugees to people from Iraq and various other places where there's people of colour, you can see how people are literally going out of their way to help Ukrainians. But they're putting in laws to stop people of colour, whether they're from Iraq or Iranian and all that kind of stuff. So in those senses, like, it's hard to prove that the race it's hard to prove it unless they're blatantly in your face with it. And the UK has got that under lockdown.
I've had this conversation. Me and Amy always have this conversation. And I always say
in the UK, it's very, like you said, it's like very polite. It's polite racism.
It's like, hidden. Like you said, it's trying to hide it.
I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel like that. And it's just like, you're not sorry. You intended on doing what you did. You went forth and you did or said what you said. Why are you apologizing after when you already thought through your actions or your words, what you was going to do or say?
And a lot of that is to do with as well how people perceive the black community, the image black people have been given. So if like I said, if they see a big black guy, there's an image. Police already have a subconscious bias or image of what this. Where I work, I call it the plantation. Is the Asian women have they know me now, but they have a view on black. They've told me this. They have a specific view on black men, or the black community, and it's not respected. So it's sometimes it's their own it's other people's insecurities. But we have to look at ourselves and say, well, how have we helped to keep those subconscious biases up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree when it comes to, like you said, the racism UK, they have it on lock.
Mm.
They're very subtle with it. They know how
Mm-hmm.
to hide it very well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in the States, they're very open. You know, you know, you know, you know. They're not scared to tell you. They will tell you. But like in the UK, who is that lady that does the blue-eyed experiment? I forgot her
Oh,
name.
Janet. Ja, ja, um, oh,
The
what's the
old lady,
name?
the
Yeah, the
glasses.
old lady. Because remember, she did
Yeah.
that experiment in the States, and she did the same experiment in
And
the
she came when she came to
UK.
the
And her
UK, and that was
comment was,
explosive.
she literally couldn't believe how racist it was over here.
Mm.
When she did it over here, she said she was shocked. She said she was actually shocked. She wasn't expecting it to be as it was. We said it's hidden. That's why and
Mm.
she was literally saying to them, she was in their face telling them,
Mm.
"You're racist, though." They're like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You can't treat me like this." But that's how a black person will get treated.
Jane
They don't
Elliott.
see it.
Mm.
They choose not to see
Yeah,
it.
that's it, Jane
I
Elliott.
wouldn't say they don't see it. They choose not to a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's selective. Very, very, very
They don't
selective.
want to face it. And when we bring it up, Jane Elliott, that's it,
Yeah.
Tasha, that's her name,
Mm.
Jane Elliott. I think she's still alive. She's still alive, I
Yeah,
think so.
she's still alive. She's
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
alive.
She's
I'll
still
Still
be quite
alive.
alive.
interested. I've got to go in a minute, but I'll be quite interested to know that who her circle is, because she speaks
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, yeah.
And she really like plays on people's subconsciousness, and like I want to know what color her husband is, or like what made her
Yeah.
change that mindset. And this is why I say I don't think Jane Elliott sees color, but what she does, she sees
Mm,
behaviors. She
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
She
recognizes,
definitely
and this
sees
is why I go
behavior.
back to, she recognizes people, our system has been indoctrinated, and it
Mm.
makes you see color
Mm,
by
Mm.
how people have been treated. And that
Mm.
blue eye experiment is the classic
experiment.
case.
Yeah,
And then she started that way, 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 way back.
yeah,
She
yeah.
first did
And I
that.
think like with that, because her husband's black, like with that experiment, it was like, well, how her children was going to, or how her children was being treated. Do you know what I mean? The behaviors, the characteristics that they were surrounded by. And she had to be honest with herself with having, she gave birth, she had mixed race, she had black children. Like
Has she
she
got
had
children?
to be,
She got mixed race children?
yeah, yeah, her children will be mixed race, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, are
living
they? Okay, I
in.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. She's married. I don't know if he's still alive, but I remember reading that she married a black man. Do you know what I mean? So it was like her, what I respect about her is her being honest with, well, one, even like the conversations of what attracted her to her husband. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Why she was dating outside of her race, the difference in the experience of what will happen to her children, you know. So, like going back to what I was saying earlier, with that woman that was talking about having these cute little brown babies, and it's just like you, there's a there's a lot of, yeah, you know, let me just say it how it is. I've seen and I've known of a lot of white women just having mixed race babies, and it's like holding a handbag. They just want a brown baby on their arm.
I would say that's more of a case of celebrities adopting black children, and because
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
than white women having babies for black men. Like I'll go by Jane Elliott, for her to have to be with a black guy in those days, and
Mm,
knowing what. So to me, it's like I could say that she genuinely cared for that guy, because you know
mm,
in those circumstances,
mm,
I'd be kind of interested to see what kind of role he played or what kind of job he had. But
Mm,
it, like, I've got a good friend by the name of Dave Fulton, who's a very funny comedian. He adopted a young black boy, and he's so honest and open with me. He's from he's from Idaho, and where he lives is like Aryan Nation and stuff like that. And it's taking him to see. I mean, he's never came across to me as racist anyway, but having a black son it's opened his eyes even more. And I think that when you have women or men who have children who are mixed, it does open their eyes and they do see it.
Mm.
Unless they're born in areas which are predominantly black anyway, like if you're from Tottenham or Hackney or anything like that, you're going to be immersed in the culture anyway. So in that sense, I would say that for Jane Elliott, for her to have a child for a black guy in those days, that this is where it's taken her to where she is now, because it's opened her eyes to the people who look like her.
You know what? I have to pause. I have to stand corrected because I can remember reading that her husband was black, but I've just asked Google and then this picture's come up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to research that some, because I can remember reading years back that her husband was black.
I don't know. Donna the Gordon's made a comment.
Possibly incorrect.
Donna the Gordon's made a comment about Jane Elliott saying, no, she sees colour, she's not blind, she just respects everyone. That's what Donna the Gordon has to say. Maya said, here in the US, it's a huge melting pot. I am not dark at all. I believe I have experienced racism to my face. I also started out in the fashion industry before I moved to healthcare.
Well, look, ladies, I've got to shoot off, man. I've got an early start. I've got to run in the morning. So
yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, King. Thank you so much
I did promise you came on my live last time, so I promise you. Look at these guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And Tasha came on when Tasha was drinking wine.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you for joining us.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Stay blessed. Bye.
Excuse me. There's some more comments. Maya says, I truly believe me being outspoken put a stop to anyone who had a thought of trying me. Donna the Gordon, I find people who lack melanin only understand when they experience themselves. They lack empathy.
Yep. And the difference is, when we experience something, you never see us cry. And then you see when they experience it, all the waterworks come out. And then they want our comfort.
No.
I'm not even going to give you a tissue. I'm not even going to give you a tissue.
Tears? What tears? As I sip my water.
Right. Right.
Right. Do we have any more comments, people?
I'm going to pin. Hold on. See if I... Right. Because of the time, I'm going to go to...
What, the last question?
Yeah. The last question.
What is the time? Oh my God, is that the time? A few minutes.
Ooh.
Watching the William and Kate documentary has shined a huge light on how racism is in the UK. I had no idea. William and Kate. Do you mean Meghan and Harry? Is that the royal family? Is that what you mean? I have no... Okay. Exactly. See, Maya, you're in this... Exactly. Racism in the UK. Yo. Yes, babe. It's here. It's just that, like Quincy said, they have it on lock. So when we bring it up, they're making us feel as if they make us start questioning ourselves if we're going mad. Yeah. Are we sure? Maybe not, you know. Maybe I got it wrong. Then you start questioning yourself. Yeah, Meghan, I'm like, I think you're William and Kate. Oh, Meghan and Harry. No, I haven't watched any of that. Because we already, as black people in the UK, we already know what it is. Just we know what it is. What have you done it? Why are your eyes like that, David?
Because I'm trying to concentrate. Leave my eyes alone. I don't even know what they look like. What did my eyes look like?
Oh, right. Oh, you've got 2 pins. Can you not get rid of one?
Oh. No, there's
Does
only
it?
one.
Does your skin color impact how desirable you feel? Now,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
What? Does your skin impact? What do you mean? I'm black, I feel desirable. What do you mean?
But I've still got that thing in me that the darker I am, the more desirable I feel.
So you want to get darker than you are?
Yeah.
Okay. So how
I
dark do
love
you
it
want
when
to
I get
get?
darker.
So
I
you're
love it
not
when I go on holiday.
so you're saying, are you happy with how you look, or you're happy when you go on holiday and you're tanned?
No, I'm happy with how I look. I love myself. However, when I go on holiday and I get tanned, I love it. I don't run away from the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the opposite to where, growing up, I saw a lot more lighter skinned women being desired
Mm.
and me being left to, or people trying to make me feel away. And I think I probably was envious for a short amount of time, wanting
Mm-hmm.
to be lighter. That didn't last long. It didn't last long. Like, I went deep into like the whole psyche of why are people being envied because they're lighter,
Mm-hmm.
And I found different ways or many reasons of why I must love my dark skinned self. But then it was mad because then, of course, I was being met with people that were darker than me, you know? But it was, yeah, I love myself. I love my complexion. And I don't hide away from the sun. Um, I love my skin. I love my skin. But yeah, I do love it when I get darker.
Okay,
And
I
when
would
I'm
say,
glowing, when I've got that
okay.
whole sun glow. I love it.
For me, as I was growing up, opposite to you, because you sound like you were a very confident child, whereas me, and you were confident within the way you looked with your skin. For me, hand on heart, honestly, I would say when I was younger, because of what I was surrounded by on the television, when it came to
Mm.
music and my circle of friends, I would probably like be the only black girl when I was in nursery, not nursery, say in school. My best friend was a white girl at the time.
Mm.
But like I said, what I was surrounded by, or the images I would see, would be
Mm.
white. There wouldn't be anybody that looked like me. So
Mm.
when I was at school, I did not feel desirable at all.
Mm.
Didn't feel it.
That's mad
And at
because
that
even
time,
though, yeah,
pardon, say that
no, that's
again.
mad because we was in very similar surroundings. Like I was like the first school I went to, I was the only black girl. I was the only black person after my brother left. So I
Mm,
was constantly always being surrounded by white people. But I know we did move to another area in Bradford, and I went to, yeah, that was a whole culture shock because then majority of all the kids were like black and Asian, and that was when I was 10.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, from the age of 10, I was around more black people, like more than just from my family, you know? But yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, like I was saying, for me growing up, I didn't feel desirable at all.
Okay.
Um, especially in school. Yeah, I didn't feel I didn't hate myself, especially like in secondary school. I didn't hate myself, but I didn't feel desirable as a black teenage girl because you would see the lighter skinned woman on the television. You would see, especially in those days, it was the lighter you were, or the mixed race girls were getting all the attention from the guys. The darker you were, you weren't getting that attention.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean
hear
that
that. When I went to college,
that's how it was.
yeah, when I went to college, you know, because there was like a few of us dark-skinned ladies, and then there was a few light-skinned ladies. And the light-skinned girls did used to get a lot of attention. But what was really interesting was when me or any of the dark-skinned girls used to get attention, the light-skinned girls used to go back crazy. They were so jealous. And I was like, you get attention all the time. The 1, 2, 3 little time I get an eye flick, you're getting jealous. It was a really confusing time. It was a really confusing time. But around that time, there was little diamonds and crystals that were solidifying of why I need to love myself and how beautiful I actually am. Do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, I don't get attention as much as you, but how jealous you're showing me that you are of me just is amplifying and showing me how powerful I am. You know, so it was just like, wow, like I must be really powerful for you to flip like this. I've never
The
seen
older
you.
like I said, my experience was this, but I said the older I got, I realized actually no, I'm black, I'm beautiful. I began to love my skin. But I did love but like I said, I just realized I am desirable. My skin color is a big impact and it makes me very desirable. And I've wore the weaves, I've wore the wig. I ain't gonna lie. You said you didn't do it. I was opposite. I did that. I did all of it. I did the extensions. I did the wigs. I did the weave. And for me, when I first started, first of all, it was the Jerry curl, and that was because I didn't want cane waves in my head. I didn't want to be going to secondary school with my head in cane waves. I'm a big woman. I was like, no, I don't want to be going to school like that. No, they're going to laugh at me. No. I want a Jerry curl so my hair can swish in the wind. I can go whoop, 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 whoop. That's why I wanted my curly perm. So then I got my leisure curl. It could go and I could straighten it. Yeah. That's literally from society making me think that my hair isn't good. That's what that was. Then from there, I got the extensions. And I think the reason why I got the extensions is, and I always remember this, Soul to Soul, Karen Wheeler.
Yeah.
First black woman, she had locks. I seen her and I went, she is beautiful. And she has dreadlocks. She is pretty. She can sing. She's amazing. I was like, I want her. I want to be her. At that time, I was like, forget Whitney Houston. I want to be Karen Wheeler. That was my thing. I want to be, yes, back to life. Seeing her, I was like, I'm so glad I'm the color that I am. Because she looks amazing. I was like, seeing her just flip the switch for me, seeing her.
Okay.
So yeah, but now yes. Does your skin color impact how you desire you feel? Yes, it does. With you saying that you want to get blacker. I'm happy with how I look, with my skin color. However, if I go on holiday like you, I'm not going to be one to hide from the sun. We need it, to be fair. We need it. If I get darker in the sun, I don't see that as a problem. I don't see it as an issue. I just embrace it. You know what I mean? I embrace it. I'm not going to say like, I want to get dark. If I get darker in the sun, I get darker. I embrace it and I love it.
Mm.
You're either going to love me or you're going to hate me regardless. I'm still going to be
Yeah,
me
yeah,
regardless of what tone.
yeah,
But regardless of my
yeah.
skin tone, you need to love me for me regardless of my skin tone. Because when that suntan fades, it's going to get right back to this.
Mm.
This. I used to get called jaundice. Yeah, light.
You used to get called
Okay, I
what?
remember one time someone in my family asked me for bleach. I was like, excuse me, no. Are you bleaching? Excuse me. What? You doing what now? Oh, I was like, no. What do you mean I'm a bleach? What do you mean I'm a bleach? No. I felt so. I was like, no. Oh my gosh, how rude. And I think it's more than one person that said that to me. Because like you said, we go on holiday, we get dark. So we're on holiday, Jamaica, got dark, talking to this guy. When I was talking to the guy, I was tanned up, dark, you see. Came back to England, so we're still corresponding. And I went down and looked at me and went, how come you so light? Oh, excuse me, this is my natural colour. The tan has gone. Rude. You sure you're not bleaching? Excuse me. I was like, excuse me now. The tan has faded. This is my natural glow. Thank you. And because I bruise very easy as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just brushing past Fiona and she'll have a big bruise on her shoulder.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It goes from red to purple to green to yellow and then fine.
That's why Fiona if we go to a comedy or if we're watching a funny film, Fiona does not like to sit next to me because I'm the
Our
one
other
that
cousin, because all they do is
and then hit her and then
hit
she'll
me.
come out of the cinemas with just pure bruises because I've been pushing and hitting her because the film is so funny.
I just don't like to watch any film with you or my other cousin because you both do the same thing. And you both know it annoys me, so you keep doing it, and I just give you the side eye. And yeah, I'm a flared nostrils because I ain't got the energy of the time. Yes,
But
domestic abuse, Shaq. Yes, trust and
whatever.
believe.
Keep out of it about domestic abuse. There's no abuse. But there's a comment here that I think Mia and Tasha was going back and forth, and Tasha made a comment about now the industry say that you can be dark, but you have to have European features. Now, that triggers my brain going back about 4 or 5 years ago. And there's an old friend that I had. Won't mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
And
Okay.
you will do once I say what I'm going to say. And it was a guy, and he was a cool dude, but he was very interesting, or is very interesting. And he made a comment. He was making comments about my features and who would I appeal to. Who do I believe that I appeal to? Like, and I was like, I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Right. So this is where I said, I was like, I don't understand your questioning and where this is going and what the whole point of this is. Who do I appeal to? Okay, please share more so I understand. And it was basically saying that I'm a black woman who guys from many other races, especially white men, would go after. Because I'm dark skinned, but then I have European features.
What's European features? Your eyes? I don't know. No, they're Asian because your eyes look Chinese, and that's not your. Okay, your lips? I don't know. What did he mean by this? Did you ask him more questions?
I did, and he wasn't really it wasn't making no sense. And then I was like, am I supposed to be happy about this?
European features? What?
That I am being desired by everybody else. Like, is that something for me to
Was
like
this when you
jump
had
and
your,
scream
was this when you,
about?
question, was this when you had your shaved head?
I think so, yeah. I think so,
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And the reason why I say that
yeah,
is because I've heard people make a comment is that when that the white man likes the black woman is finds her most desirable in her natural form. So the
yes,
natural hair, the bald head.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jack
The
D
way
says
that
man
black
sounds
guys,
like an
when I
idiot.
shave my head,
Yeah.
yes, yes, that, yeah, the
Man
man sounds like
sounds
an
like an
idiot, a
idiot.
whole idiot.
Donna said, dickhead. A whole dickhead idiot. I don't know who this is, baby. You have to tell me afterwards because I can't remember. I don't know who this is. I don't know
Yeah,
who this was.
but like, yeah, like when I had the shaved head, black guys would approach me differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it, you know, it's like you're right, Empress, Queen, and getting all deep and philosophical and poetic,
Yes.
all of that.
Hello. Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And then yeah, more white guys would approach me too. Like I would get approached by white guys, but when I shaved my head, yeah, like it definitely the
Mm.
number racked up, you know. But I was like, when he approached me with this conversation, I was like, "Am I supposed to be amused by this? I don't understand where this is all going, or why this even came to mind, you
Did you
know?
get any more? Did you get any more from him in regards to that? Or did he just
No,
leave it
no,
there? He just
just
left
left
it
it
there.
there. He couldn't really elaborate because I was just so confused,
He sounds
and all I
confused and
kept on
down,
coming back
down,
with
down.
was why, what, but why?
He sounds confused himself. He really does. Yeah, he sounds.
Maybe white guys think a shaved head is more manly. Mm,
No.
no, no, they wouldn't. The way
One
that
of the
they,
lads. I think he's taking the piss. It's
yeah,
one
I
of the
think he
lads.
is. You see, when I see you, right? It's already marked in our diaries anyway, innit? Because we've got the event 27th of January, mate. Yeah, when you get a box in your shoulder, just know why. When you get a whole hefty, big ass thump in your forehead, you know why. You went so. One of the lads, are you mad?
Oh gosh.
But
Uh,
yeah, but yeah, and then there was some. What was it that you said not so long ago? Oh, yeah, okay. I was trying to find sense in what the guy was saying. Yeah, there was no sense. There was no sense at all. There was absolutely no sense. There was absolutely no sense because yeah, there was no there was no sense. It was just like, why did you? What made you? What encouraged
mm,
you to bring this conversation to me? And am I supposed to walk away from this conversation feeling good about myself because of what you've just shared? You know, what part of my features is European? I have a European. What part of my features are European?
and
But yeah,
Maya's made a comment. She said, "We come in all
that
shades
is
of
a black
colors."
guy. Pardon?
So Maya said, "We come in all shades of colors. I think you should love whatever you are and have. Love yourself. It's important." Then she went on to say, "How can you expect someone else to love you if you don't ever love you?" Very,
Mm-hmm.
very true. But then
Mm-hmm.
remember, as children, when you're growing up, like when you guys, it can be very difficult because you need to identify.
Mm.
You need to first identify yourself, identify who you are, know who you are, learn who
Mm.
you are. You're learning about
Mm.
yourself,
Mm.
and then learning to accept yourself and learning to love yourself. You know what I mean? For
Mm.
me, I can literally truly say, looking back, I actually don't think I love myself. When I look back
Mm.
now, I liked myself, but I don't really think I love myself. The work I've done over the years, I have learned to accept myself for who I am, for what I am, for who I'm becoming. And with that acceptance has become self-love. But back in the day, I didn't love, I liked myself. I can't say, I wouldn't say I love myself. I'll say I liked myself.
I will actually say the same. I think my self-love really started in my early 30s when I used to break down the questions to myself of of my experiences, how I treated myself, because how I treated myself was being mirrored by how other people was treating me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think my self-love started in my 30s properly, and I think about it.
Then mine said your village should have been backing and encouraging you as a child and uplifting you and nurturing your spirit. Don't get me wrong, when I was surrounded by my people, I felt good. But then I was only surrounded by them for a short period of time, because you spend a majority of your time in school. And those people, I'm not surrounded by them all the time. And like you said, the UK is different. They're so on point when it comes to hiding their shit.
Hold on, I'm still here. Continue to talk.
Yeah, hang on. So yeah, like I was saying, in response to Mike's question, don't get me wrong, when I was surrounded by my people, because I used to go to supplementary school or Saturday school on a Saturday when I got older. And that literally was going there on a Saturday, surrounded by my community, learning the English, the maths, a bit of science, all that kind of stuff. Then remember, you go back to school, and I'm not with all those children that I was with on a Saturday. I'm back in school again. I'm not surrounded by my people. Totally different. And in the UK as well, there were pockets of community where you would live. So if you didn't live in a certain pocket where that community was, then you would kind of be on the outskirts, if that makes sense. Yes, Donna the Gordon, UK. That's where, that was that's where the community was, man. UK. Oh, the jokes we got there, the laughs we got there. UK Saturday school. Chantel said, very different. What is that in response to, Chantel? I'm not too sure. DJ Shakti. Personally, I'm a very dark-skinned black man who loves his complexion, especially growing up being constantly taken the pee out of. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's nice to hear. Yeah, especially because you being a darker-skinned man, you're saying you've always loved your complexion. I know back in the day, dark man was not getting no love. Just like the dark man wasn't getting no love at all. It's all about lighter. So to hear you saying that you loved yourself, thank you. But yeah, only recently over the past few years, dark man's getting the love, even though I've always loved the dark man, to be fair.
Shaq says here, I could have easily grown up to hate my own based on my experiences, and that's the colourism within our black community. Yeah.
We all teach her to love herself, and she does love herself.
That's amazing.
It's underbelly. It's grime. The racist undertones of this country. Exactly, Chantal. That's what it is. It's the racist undertones of this country. It's as black people, we know, and sometimes we can't articulate it. It's
yeah.
And that's why I'm just laughing because it's like it's there. I think you have to live here to live here to
To
know.
understand, yeah.
And see,
Yeah.
Megan, she knows. I think she forgot herself. She forgot. And then she came to England and she realized, oh, yeah, my mum's black.
I'm
Yeah.
actually black.
Yeah. And
Mm.
I've actually known a few people like that, that they just get on with their life, easy breezy. Then an incident will happen. Then all of a sudden, their race comes into play. They're like, oh, damn, but why are they treating me differently? They treat me differently because I'm black. Oh, you've remembered? Okay.
Mm.
You've
Mm.
remembered. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
It's not just this country. This colorist stuff still goes. Oh yeah, we're not on about. Yeah, we know the colorist stuff goes on in the West Indies. I think what Chantel was on about is in regards to the racism and how it is very undercommon in the UK. The colorism we know it goes on Caribbean,
Mm.
Africa,
Tasha said,
UK, the
but also there are
States.
families who treat you different based on your complexion. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yeah, that's very true. And I've experienced that.
Ross Meyer said, you don't forget, it's just you're accepted everywhere, so you don't give it any thought. Is that a response to Megan? Yeah, she was accepted everywhere, I would say, her complexion. And that's where the colorism plays into it now.
Yeah,
Because if she
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah.
darker skinned mixed race person, would she have got the opportunities that she had?
She wouldn't have. She wouldn't have. And also the attacks on her would have been more rife. If Harry got with a darker skinned mixed race woman, could have been still mixed race, but she could have been darker skinned, the attacks, the verbal abuse would have been more rife.
Yeah.
So I'm not, not going to take away how it's left her and how horrific the abuse has been. However, these people could have done a lot worse. They could have done they could have done a lot worse. It's not right what's happened to her, what's happening to her. However, it could have been a lot worse or started a lot earlier than what it did.
That's Tasha's comment. It says, Megan, she could have passed as anything until they saw her black mother with locks. Yeah, the mum had locks, Richard. No relaxed hair. No pull back a ponytail. She had straight long dreadlocks. But anyhow. Roshanda, the royal family was frightened. The black gene is already laying dormant in many worlds. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. You already know this.
Yeah.
I was going to say, does your skin color impact how desirable you feel? Chantel, what's your answer to that? Write it in the chat. Tasha, what's your answer to that? Write it in the chat.
Donna, what's your answer to that?
Let's hear what you think.
Everybody
before
here.
We move on, before we vacate.
Close the conversation.
Because I feel we've been here for like 7 hours. No, not really. Is it nearly how long we've been here?
It'll be nearly 2 hours. It'll be nearly 2 hours.
I have a early start in the hay. I have a early start, you know. I have a early start. People, if you haven't got your ticket already, okay, for the 27th of January.
What are you waiting on? Get your ticket.
What are you waiting for? What, seriously?
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Get your tickets.
The only person in here that has an excuse is Maya, because she'll need to get a plane, and she might not be able to get a plane on that day because she's not in the country.
Tasha, because Tasha's out of the country too.
Oh yeah, just them two. Well, Tasha can get a Eurostar. Shut up. But no, not really, Tasha. I'm joking.
So yeah, you two, you have reasons.
You have reasons. Anyone else? What are you waiting for? Get your ticket. You need to register on Eventbrite. Eventbrite. Just type in Sisters Talk About as you see it right here, and get your ticket, register, just pay a monetary donation. You could pay, it could be £1, it could be 50 pence donation, it could be £1. Go towards 386. Those who we had join us a few weeks ago on our last live. But yes, the 27th of January, we will have the handsome, dark-skinned, tall brother, DJ Shaq D, our MC and DJing for the night.
Hey.
Yes. So make sure you get your ticket, you turn up, doors open at 7, talk starts 7:30. Make sure you read because the talk is starting at 7:30, regardless if there's anyone in the room or not. If it's just me and him in the room, we will just start chatting. We'll
just talk to each other.
Exactly.
And you know how we say already, so we can we'll just get deep straight into it, and then when you turn up late, you'll be walking through halfway through the conversation, and you know, because you're late, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm not going to repeat myself. You'll just have to catch up.
Catch up, mate. So yes, the talk is from 7:30, split in 2 halves. We have a talk 7:30 for about an hour or so interval, then we come back, and then when the talk finishes, we aim to finish at 10:30. Then from 10:30 to the hours of 1, we just have some sweet
party, y'all.
We'll be a party, y'all. Be a party, y'all.
A Sammy celebration, because it will be my birthday a few days before the event, so I'll be celebrating my birthday.
So yes, make sure you get Zest of Mind. Good evening. It's good to have you here.
Hello.
But yes, Tash, I might surprise you. Okay.
Oh, okay, sis. Come and surprise us. Come and surprise us.
You might surprise yourself because you might have to sleep on the doorstep because I do. You better come. Baba for last babe, but no. Right.
There's a comment here. Tasha says, I love me, my colour. When on holiday, I love my glow. But when I was younger and growing up, it was the calling of names from family members and people outside that did make me feel different.
Thank you for sharing, sister, cousin, friend. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm speaking of Megan. Mai said yes, that she's speaking of Megan. She said, I think I fall into the category as well. I never think about anyone's race until it's pointed out to me. Okay. The thing as black people, we don't really. We don't. That's like the last thing on our mind. We're going on, living our lives. We're going on. And then all of a sudden, boom, we get licked in the face, boom, with it like that. We're like, oh, okay. Oh, right, okay. We just get licked, bam, like that.
Yeah, Mia says, I have to point out that some dark-skinned black people will shun light-skinned black people, and there are light-skinned blacks that shun, that shun dark skin.
Very true.
Very, very.
It's
like a retaliation response to, you know, it's like to be light-skinned, it seems to be more desirable, and then like darker-skinned people would get defensive and then start treating light-skinned people different because of that too. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of jealousy, and that goes back in history, you know. But yeah, that's very, very, very true.
I do agree with that. And so does Tasha. Well, yeah, man, we're coming up to 11.
Yes.
But it has been a beautiful conversation.
It really has. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I've already stated that I love me, not my stomach, but the rest of me is the shit. Yes, 100. Same here. I motherfucking love myself. I accept myself. I love all of me. I accept all of this. I love all of this. Don't give a shit what everyone else thinks.
Oh, thank you, Cami. Radiant and Regal. Thank you for the real talk, ladies. Mwah. Love you lots,
Oh,
babe.
you are
Thank
most welcome.
you. Thank you for
Thank you for
joining us.
joining. Remember the film
Yeah.
School Days? It was point. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that film. I need to go watch. Yes, School Days. Oh my God, yes. Me love myself, me titty them, me big, like me ambition. Donna! Donna, me love you, see, girl, me love you, see, me love you, see, me love you, see. Why?
Oh, I love
Me
that.
titty them big like me
One,
ambition.
sis.
Yes,
Yes.
girl. Yes, I love it. 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 Hi.
Oh my God.
It's been a very, very insightful and
Mm.
a really good convo.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. And yeah, the sharing of experiences is important, and
Mm.
not just for this subject, every topic. It's like sharing is caring, and
Yeah.
seeing where we're all at and how we got to where we are now, our thought
We can all,
processes now.
yeah, we're always learning from each other, aren't we? So
100%.
every day is a school day.
Yeah. But I'm going to be leaving this live knowing I do not have thin lips.
You don't, babe.
I don't.
You have lips that are in proportion with your face.
Yeah.
Yeah? What's the matter with why are you squinting your eyes and flaring your nostrils?
I have lips in proportion with my face. Yeah.
Your lips are in proportion with you. You said you don't have your lips are in proportion with your face. Do you want them to be any bigger? Do you want them to be any
Mm-mm.
smaller? What?
When I was younger, I did want them to be like, but yeah. No. I
Well,
love my
Tasha
lips.
says, love you, queens, and all. Love you too. Great top with some
Love you
laughter. Yeah,
too, babe.
thank you.
Mwah.
You're welcome. We just like to thank you for becoming mercy for the cards
Yes,
for
yes.
Become Talks.
Because if you have not heard about Become Immersive, Become Talks cards, go onto their Instagram, which is Become Immersive, BECOMEIMMERSIVE. And yeah, like get into it. These cards are amazing. Their website is www.becomeimmersive.co.uk. Like these cards are absolutely amazing. So you will be seeing these popping out now and again, like to drive
Tasha said,
conversation.
just accept your lips. You
I've
accept every part of you should just accept your lips, innit?
I've
Just accept them.
accepted my lip, sister.
Are you
I've
sure?
accepted.
The way you're
Yeah,
saying that and the way you're fluttering your eye is like you're still
I
not
accept
accepting
my
them.
lips. I do.
Okay, good. Good.
I accept my lips. I love my lips. I love my face.
Mm-hmm.
I love me. Yeah. There's definitely, I'll never say that there's no improvements that I intend on making and that I'm in the process of making. However, I'm loving myself throughout the process.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, type the website in the chat. Okay. Okay. Become.
But yes, man, I love you, my queen, my sister, cousin, friend, Naomi. Love you, man. And everyone that's been part of today's conversation, who's joined, who's made a comment, if you've just listened. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for making the show what it is. And
Mm,
like we said, go get your ticket for the 27th of this
yes.
month. Me not tell
Yes.
you,
Right. Don't let us have to
okay.
remind you again.
Because
Our
you know
next
we'll be
live.
reminding you and again on the next live we will be reminding y'all. So we
Our
don't
next
want to
live is
draw
on
you
the
out.
15th.
Okay? Okay.
Yeah, we'll be calling out your name like it's a register.
You don't know. Ticket No, lock off. Ticket, come up. You got your ticket, lock up. Bye-bye. You don't want to get called out like that. You're done now. You'll be in detentions. Okay.
Oh
But
my
yes,
God.
Maya, good night. It's been lovely having you here. Night, Tasha. Night, ladies and
Night, all of
gentlemen.
you. Ah,
Have a
love
fantastic
y'all.
rest of the week. Whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
doing, enjoy yourself. Until the next live, which is 2 weeks today. As
Yeah,
we
on the
say
16th of
here,
January.
I'm having a birthday celebration in Not Sorry. No, I'm sorry for you because you're missing it, but enjoy your birthday celebration in it later, babes. I love you, Chantal. I love you. You know, but yeah. We'll be partying
Oh,
for you.
yeah,
But
we'll
yes,
party
people,
for you.
as we said, until next time in 2 weeks' time, as we normally say, love, peace,
Peace
and
and
hey,
grease.
bye.
Mwah. Love y'all.
Good
Good
night. Love
night. Sleep
y'all.
tight. Bye. Okay, trying to end.